All right, welcome back to another episode of the Footy Foster podcast. I'm the host, Footy baby. What's up, everybody? Thanks for tuning in. Appreciate you taking the time out of your day to listen. Today, I'm just gonna talk a little bit about 75 Hard. I've mentioned it before for sure on my blog, maybe a couple times here and there on the podcast. For those of you who do not know, it is a challenge that was created by Andy Frisella. He's an entrepreneur, businessman. He's got a podcast called the Real AF Podcast. Started the challenge initially, it was 2 months ago, almost to the day. March 2nd of 2022, I was driving home from Cincinnati from the airport. I just gotten back from Colorado, and one of my buddies was like, I was on the phone with one of my friends, just to kill time, kind of distract myself, because I was really sad that day leaving the airport. This was my first trip to see the girl that I'm talking to, and just really bummed out that I was leaving her. So I was on the phone with my good friend, and he was saying, "Hey, me and Dylan we're doing 75 Hard starting today." I was like, shoot, I'll join you. I had heard of it at that point in time already. I heard about it 2 years before that. I was like, why not? There's no reason not to do it. So the very next day, started it up. Failed after 10 days. I think I've talked about that before, why I failed. And then I started again as soon as I got back from Nashville. I had a trip to Nashville, and that was kind of one of the reasons why I failed the first attempt. So I started it again like right away. I made it about 35 days. I can't remember exactly what it was. Failed again when Liz was here visiting me. And I think I've mentioned that like I wasn't stressing about it too much because I just wanted to enjoy my time with her. So yeah, failed again. So she left, and I jumped right back on the bike, and we're at it again. Today is day 14. Completed all my tasks for the day, for the 14th day in a row. This time, I'm not going to fail because I really don't want to start it over again. Just the pressure and the anxiety that it causes is not necessarily a bad thing, but it is very stressful. But it's making me into a better person, and it's making me more disciplined and taking care of the things that I need to take care of on a daily basis. So that's like the whole reason behind doing this. For those of you who do not know, the rules are pretty simple, but simple and easy are two different things. So the first rule, you have to follow a diet. You get to pick the diet. That's up to you. So the first time I didn't really give myself too much of a strenuous diet. It was just like, I'm just not gonna eat fast food, processed food. Other than that, I'm not gonna worry about it too much. Second time I said I'm gonna go vegetarian. And for 2 weeks now, I've been on a vegan diet. So that's what I'm doing right now. That's the first rule. Second rule, 2 workouts a day, 45 minutes each. One has to be outside. No alcohol, no cheat meals. You have to drink a gallon of water every day, read 10 pages of a nonfiction book, and take a progress picture every day. Simple rules, not easy though. Never easy. Yeah, which, that's why they call it 75 Hard. So, today is 2 weeks in. I was just writing my blog post about, finishing 2 weeks, and then with the turn from April to May, I also received my my monthly performance assessment from Whoop. I wear a Whoop strap. If you guys don't know, if you are interested in health and data specifically, I would definitely recommend the Whoop strap. I'm not sponsored by them at all, but I really love what they do. I think it's very beneficial, and it helps. Like it's similar to the Apple Watch in some ways, but it's not actually a watch like the Apple Watch. There's no screen on it, and just it monitors your heart rate at all times, your resting heart rate, your heart rate variability, your sleep, and those are kind of like the main metrics that it gets. It also does like your O2 levels and things of that nature, a couple other things that I don't really check all too often. I'm more more interested in the calories that I'm burning each day, the amount of strain that my body is taking on in relation to how well my body has recovered overnight. And then obviously sleep. I love seeing how my sleep is improving or declining. So, one of the things that what I was talking about in my new blog post is what I'm going to talk about here today with being 2 weeks in. And realistically, I've been doing 75 hard for about 2 months now. So obviously it's not been consecutively, or else I would still be, I wouldn't be 2 weeks in. I'd be, 65 days in, or whatever it's been. But that being said, the monthly performance assessment, I got it the other day in my Gmail inbox, and it was very, very interesting to see how my body has like improved. Like the physical obvious changes that I see in my body when I'm standing in the mirror taking that progress picture every night, that's obvious. However, the data itself tells a whole different story, or not a different story, but it tells the deeper side of the story. So, the first thing that the monthly performance assessment does is tells you about your restorative sleep. My restorative sleep has improved from March to April. My hours of sleep and sleep need kind of all over the place because I have a terrible pattern of sleep. Not super consistent with bedtime and wake time. It's something I need to work on, something I am working on. So then it gets down to your training breakdown. So over the month of April, 41 registered activities, average activity strain of 12.3, which is relatively moderate, but that's also accounting for like my low strain walks, yoga. Um, you know, it's not like all of my, it's just the average. So average strain of 12.3. Soccer had a 14.8 average, basketball 14.7, walking 6.8, running 11.6. Total activity duration 42 hours and 52 minutes. That's staggering. That's like an entire work week just dedicated to my body, which is kind of cool. And then average activity duration of about an hour and 2 minutes. Soccer typically is about an hour and a half, basketball about an hour and a half, walking 45 minutes, running 30 minutes. All other activities are about 45 minutes as well. Then it shows you like the heart rate zones, like how much time you're spending in your workouts in each heart rate zone. My most common heart rate zone is 70 to 79%, and then followed quickly by 60 to 69, and then 80 to 89, and then 50 to 59%. Just another cool graph that kind of shows you like how strenuous your activities are, in terms of strain. And strain, for those of you who are not familiar with Whoop, is just a statistic that they've kind of formulated. So like I said, my average activity strain is 12.3. That doesn't necessarily mean anything. It's just that's a moderate. That's literally the moderate amount of strain that you can put on your body. Anything under 10 is considered light. Anything 15 and above is strenuous. Anything over 18 to 21 is an all out. I never saw anything above 18 to 21. I have before, but not in the past like 90 days. I think one time it registered skiing as an all out strain activity. That was probably a year ago. I think when I first started getting back into playing soccer, some of those first times that I played were all out strain activities. But one of the things that I've noticed is that as I play more, work out more, like consistently, it's taking less and less of a toll on my body than it used to, because my body's just more used to having that level of strain and activity go into an activity like that. So like it's not saying that I'm doing less when I'm playing basketball or when I'm playing soccer, but my body is just more used to those activities. So that's a really cool thing. Recovery. So recovery represents how ready your body is to take on strain. So I don't know what the hell happened, but between August and November of last year, I don't think I ever wore my Whoop. And then I started wearing it again right at the end of November. And so from December of 2021 until March of 2022, they're just red days, which is just low recovery. Like I think it's under 30%. They're just scattered all throughout. There are a lot of green days in there as well, but just red everywhere. So this was probably the coolest thing. In April of 2022, I didn't have a single day of red recoveries, which again, it just means that my body is getting more used to putting strain on it. Um, so my average recovery December 61%, January 58%, February 63%, March 57%, and then a 14% increase in April, 71%. That was awesome. That's really cool to see. And part of that is just I'm sleeping better too. And like it all kind of goes hand in hand. Like if you're like putting physical strain on your body's going to get tired. And when your body's tired and your mind is tired at the end of the day, it's a lot easier to fall asleep and it's a lot easier to stay asleep. It's pretty simple. So that's really really cool for me to see like visually that these things are all improving because these things all relate to longevity in terms of human life. If you're sleeping well, if you're exercising and you're recovering well, theoretically you should have a longer life, God willing. Um, Training behavior, a lot of it was overreaching. There was like that one week when she was here that it was considered a restorative week, but then she left again as overreaching again. So um, I'm okay with overreaching right now because I'm still striving to get to a place where I feel like okay, I've reached a good level of fitness and now I can just look for optimal levels of strain, so I can just kind of coast with where I'm at with my body, not necessarily take workout days off, but like just not go as hard because it's not as necessary. I'm just like I've my body has improved tremendously over the past 60 days. So is my mind. Like that's the biggest part of 75 hard is like it's a definitely a physical thing, but like the physical aspect of it is to condition your mind. Um, so I'm still not quite where I want to be with how I look and how I feel, but like I'm getting there. So I feel like once I get done with 75 hard again, or well, I shouldn't say again for the first time, um, it'll be it'll be in a place where I'm like, okay, cool. Now I can just like chill and maybe not work out every single day, but who knows? I haven't really thought that far ahead about it. Um, Definitely go on walks every day at the very least. Yeah. So, in addition to that, the very last part of the monthly performance assessment is recovery and behavior summary. So, every day when you wake up, it gives you a journal like, what did you do yesterday? Did you drink caffeine? Did you hydrate enough? Did you look at your phone while you were in bed? Did you share your bed? Did you fast yesterday? Did you drink alcohol? You know, things like that. And then it kind of breaks down if any of those behaviors have a positive or negative impact. Um, so I did over the past 90 days, I've drank 9 times apparently. I can't even remember 9 times that I've actually consumed alcohol over the past 90 days. Um, and it turns out alcohol has a significant negative impact on your recovery. Who would have thought? Um, 14 plus day strain had a negative impact. It made me 7% more likely to have bad. It made me okay. Your median strain is 14.0. On those days you had a strain of 14.0 or above, you were significantly more or less likely to also report the following behaviors. After accounting for these influences, the impact on your recovery is estimated to be negative. So it had negative 7%, and it also made me less likely to get that 75% plus sleep performance, which was interesting. Um, Also, sharing a bed was had a positive impact. 75% plus sleep performance had a positive impact naturally. Um, so just very cool to see this data. It's just very cool to have, and it kind of lets you know where you're at physically, and what things you need to work on, what things you need to tweak. So Sleep performance, I don't know if I mentioned, it was 11% better in April than March, which is awesome because who doesn't love sleeping? Who doesn't love sleeping well? I sure do. So, yep, 2 weeks down with 75 hard. Feels good. It would feel a lot better to be 60 some days down, but hey, it's okay. We fall sometimes. You just got to learn to get back up. So that's all I have for you today. This is kind of just supposed to be coupled with my blog post that's going up tomorrow. So check that out if you have the chance. You can see some of the data. It'll be in the blog. Took some screenshots of it, threw it in there. So thank you guys for listening. This is Footy. This is the Footy Foster podcast. And let's make today a great day, okay? Cheers.